That cable is no good. So let's get one ordered. So the other day, I took the bike to go get some oil and oil filter so that I can change the oil on the motorcycle here. And when I'd come up to a stoplight, normally I will put it into neutral. For some reason, I could not engage the clutch well enough to be able to get it into neutral. Didn't think much of it. Drove it to the motorcycle store, got the stuff, and had the guys look at it there at Steve Cycles and in Mesa, and they suggested that possibly the cable has been stretched. Told me about some other things that could be wrong with it, but in their mind, the cable could be wrong. You know, it could be stretched. So drove it home, and on the way home, I could not get it between, it was very hard to get it between gears, let alone when I come to a stop sign, put it into neutral. In fact, holding it down, the clutch was still engaged, was still wanting to go forward. Twice, the motorcycle would not stop completely enough for me to stay safely behind. It almost took me into the intersection, so I had to turn off the motorcycle to stop from rolling into the intersection. Got it home just now, took off the clutch as I showed you earlier, probably better with the white in the background. This end, which is the lever end, is just totally frayed. Now if that is like that there, I can imagine if it would be stretched along that entire length of cable. So it's time to order a new cable. So after searching and searching and searching all throughout Arizona, as many places as I can find that were at least on the internet, couldn't find anybody in the Arizona Valley that I could get to get a clutch cable. And so I went online to several different places, found a place called DennisKirk.com. They're not sponsoring this program, so the information I have to share with you is legit. It's my experience with it. Found it really, really good website to follow, to find. They have a little section here on that you can put your garage, and you can put all the different bikes or different ATVs, quads, snowmobiles, all those types of things that you have in your garage in there. And then when you do a search for, let's say, clutch cable in my case, it'll say, do you want a clutch cable for this bike? Or, you know, it gives you a list of all your different things in your garage, and so you can select which bike you're looking for. And then it'll go through its inventory and find one that is meant for or can fit your vehicle. So I placed my order, and through the power of video, I got my cable. Let's open it up. Let's see how well they pack these things. I mean, that's a clutch cable. Big box for a clutch cable. But let's see what kind of clutch cable. Airbags that are fun to pop later. Here we go. This end goes down by the clutch. This end, which is straight, it's not bent, is into the lever. So let's get this thing installed. Quick lesson for those of you who don't know. Behind this part right here is your clutch plates. Clutch spring, clutch plates, and all that. This is what engages and disengages when you pull on or release the clutch, which in this case is up here on the handlebars, okay, right here. So the clutch cable goes down along here, comes up here, and another part where it mounts is right here. This is what keeps it from sliding back and forth. It keeps the part there, and then the cable inside is then activating the clutch. Distance from here to here needs to be at least 1.25 inches. So let's take a look at what we got here. So right now I've got basically about 1 inch if you look at it straight on. Okay, so what I need to do, and I've already taken the bolt out, is I need to take this out with this post turned all the way this way as much as possible, and I need to then take this up and shift it this way a little bit more so I get that 1.25 inches, okay, in there. Now this bolt right here is interesting, is not just causing tension around here to pinch this bolt right here. This actually also acts as a pin to keep it from sliding up. If you can see right here in that bolt, there's a groove, and that groove, I don't know how to illustrate to show this, but that groove is just big enough for this bolt to go in. So the bolt also keeps the lever from sliding up from use and use and use. There's also this spring that sits right on here, around here, and that's what gives the lever tension to release from the pulling action of the handlebar lever. Okay, the thing is mine was broken right here and would not fit in, because this part right here needs to be crooked down into this little slot right here, and that keeps it from spinning all around. It gives it that springy tension. Well, it was broken, and as you can see, I've started to bend or unwind the spring so that I can put a little dog leg on the end here that will then get stuck or stay put in that little slot right there so that the spring doesn't spin around. Stretched the spring out a little bit more and then put a 90-degree bend in the spring so that it will now sit down in here and rest right in that little slot. So now you see how that gives some tension on that right there. So with that, we're going to put the lever back on. Okay, I'm going to put it out a little bit further out here. It doesn't matter that this spring is not on there right now. We can always go in after we've made all the adjustments. When we're adjusting it, we want the lever all the way forward, rotated towards the front of the motorcycle first before we put this spring on. Next thing we got to do is put the cable on. I'm really excited about this particular cable because I have 3 spots to do my adjustments with. The first spot was where I was telling you about here, on the clutch plate or the clutch area itself. The other place I have to adjust is up here at the handlebars, where you have an adjustment there. Now before, the old cable that I showed you, I only had those 2 spots to make any kind of adjustment to my clutch. This cable, besides looking cool with a steel braided finish with a heat resistant coating over the top of that, but I also have the main adjustment section, which probably most of you guys with Roadstars have, and that's this section right down through here. This is where most of your slack is going to be taken up by here, and then your fine-tuning adjustments are going to be done up here at the clutch lever. So let's get this thing on. Now remember, this goes up by the lever up on the handlebars, and this gets done on the lever on the clutch area down here. So first I'm putting the clutch cable into this plate down here at the bottom. Okay, I've got this all pulled forward as far as it goes. This is sitting inside there. Okay, so you notice on here I've got to get this all lined up, because underneath you will see that there's this little hole here, right there, for the barrel, and it comes in and then it locks the cable around, so it basically acts almost like a key. It goes in and it goes that way. There you go. Push that up in there until it gets up in here. Now I can turn this into the cable up here. All right, so again, I put it up, the cable is coming out this way, I put it up so the cable is all the way up to the top here. All the way up to the top here, and the cable is sticking out like this, okay? And then, with that barrel up in there, I'm able to turn the cable around, and it goes through all these slots. Now, this, I can just lock this down now, so now that cable can't slide out of there. It's all stuck in here. This part of the cable casing is inside this receiver part, and this part is what we'll use to adjust the tension in and out. You see how much play I have in it, in the cable, or the lever right now? We want about the distance of, say, a dime in there of play before it actually will engage the rest of the clutch, okay? Before we do any adjustments here, we need to come down to this section here and take out the play in here so it's nice and tight in that cable. So let's put this up in here. All right, so we're going to take this cable and I'm going to put it inside, in between these two latches, and I'm going to latch them down, at least the top one down right now. So it's simple as that. I just put the cable inside there, snapped it into position. Now I just need to get some wrenches here so that we can take out any play that's in this cable. So the cable is nice and taut. Then also we're going to then adjust up here at the lever side of things. Pull this up a little bit. See a little bit of both. So then up here at the lever side, we're going to make those fine-tuning adjustments with that section that I showed you earlier to adjust the amount of play that's in this lever, okay? So I need two 12mm wrenches. I just grab, two open end. I don't need to worry about the box end. Put one on here. And this little one down below is actually a locking. Okay, it locks it. It keeps it from going back down through vibration and stuff like that. So what we're doing is, again, we're making the sheath of the cable longer now to pull and keep tension on the inner cable. Okay. Now that I've adjusted with the big portion of this adjuster, I'm now taking the little bolt that's around there, which is the lock bolt, and I'm bringing it up now to meet the larger portion, and that's going to lock it, keep it from eventually working its way down, because those two are working against each other now. I take this one and I just go opposite each other, just to lock that in there. All right. Well, I'm going to now adjust a little bit of the play in this particular part of this adjustment up here by the handlebar levers. I don't know if you can see this, especially with the bright light behind. See if I can kind of make it a little better. But I did not have to adjust this very far. Now this is a little different than the adjuster that I just finished with. This locking nut here, I want to make sure it's this way up against here so it keeps that distance. This will grow as the cable stretches. It's a new cable, okay? We'll have to do this every now and again as there's wear. I mean, it's just to be expected. But this cable, I so far as aesthetics, it's a nice looking cable. Well, it works. And it only took me 8 minutes and 40 seconds to get around the block. Oh man. So, I don't know how some of you guys who are YouTubers do this by yourself. I've done a lot of recording, and I go to take the camera off the tripod to bring it down, give you a closer look, and I find out that I wasn't recording. So I hope I have enough footage to do a video.